Hello everyone, and welcome to the 12th video of this SD-WAN course series. My name is Brandon Stimson, your instructor for this video, and consider this video part 2 of application-aware routing. In our last video, we configured a new transport interface labeled as LTE, and I used my PowerPoint presentation to have a quick overview on app-aware routing. For this video, we plan on actually creating that policy and choosing different applications to travel over their respective transports. In this lab, we'll be matching ICMP traffic to go over biz internet, right here, over gig 00, which is labeled as biz internet, and TCP to go over LTE, which is going to be gig 01, matched on NL3 Edge 4. Without further ado, let's get started. So let me open up my session to vManage. NL3, there we go, cached in. There we are. Let me log in, same password as before. So we're going to go ahead and head over to our centralized policy that we created in our direct internet access video. So I'm going to head over to policies, and then here's that DIA policy that we created in that video. Check out our channel for that video where we configure internet access for NL3 Edge 4 using this exact policy. We actually don't have to create any new lists because we created that for our internet access policy. But let me just show you guys where all the data prefixes, VPNs, and etc. we created from that video can be found. So I'm going to head over to Custom Options, click on Lists. Here's where we can create application lists, specifying which application you want to hit in your policies. You can configure color. I configure MPLS and Biz Internet for colors. And here's those data prefixes. I configured a little bit more on by myself off the video, where I tried to match DNS IPs and some other IPs that were that's a part of this topology. But we're going to be focusing on data DS1, and data DS2, so that 192.168.5 and 4 networks. You can create polisers, kind of rate limiting traffic, I think. Yeah, not to exceed a certain rate. And here's our prefixes that we could be more granular with our subnets. And here I configured site 4 and site 5, but we're going to just be focusing on site 4, 204. And you can configure SLA class, TLOCKs, and our VPN, which is going to be VPN 200. So that's where we find our configurable action items that we configured in our internet access video. And for this app-aware policy, we'll actually be reusing some of the lists that we've already created, and that will be VPN 200 and our data prefixes, which is data DS1 and data DS2. And awesome, we're done here. So that's the end of the video. If you like what you saw, subscribe to our channel. Just kidding. Can you imagine if that's all we show? So anyways, jokes aside, I'm going to go ahead and click on Custom Options again and click on Traffic Policy. We got jokes here. Only jokes on not layer 3. It's kind of in the name anyways. But anyways, this is actually where we're going to create our application-aware routing policy. As you can see here, it's labeled as app-aware policy, or app-aware routing, to be more specific. And this is our traffic data policy that we created for our internet access video, seen here. And as you can see, reference count is 1. We're actually referencing it in our centralized policy. So I'm going to go over here and then click on Add Policy and create New. So this should be familiar to you guys if you've watched our internet access video, but we'll go through it again for simplicity's sake. So in the name field, I'm going to name this app underscore aware, and then just copy paste. Then I'm going to click, and then I'm going to click on new sequence type, and then click on sequence rule. As you can see here, app route gets automatically pre-populated. So we can now create the sequence rules that we want to match traffic on. So like I said, this next configuration panel should be familiar to viewers who've already watched the internet access video. And you should know what I'm going to probably do next, which is going to match on our source data prefix on this sequence rule. And click into this field, select data_ds1, and then click on destination data prefix list, and we're going to match on data_ds2 right here. For this sequence of the app-aware policy, or for this sequence rule more specifically, we're going to match on ICMP traffic. To do that, I'm going to use the ICMP protocol number, which is the number 1. I'll explain more in detail later why I'm going to use this protocol number instead of matching it on an application that we could have configured in our lists, our custom lists. So we must choose an action. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and click on the protocol to match on ICMP. And there it is. So protocol 1, cached already, is ICMP traffic. So we're matching on the protocol for ICMP. Now we need to configure an action for this sequence rule. And we're going to click on Backup SLA Preferred Color. And then when we click into this field, let me scroll down, we'll have all the color options that are pre-populated when you click on this action. And for this, on ICMP, we're going to match on the color Biz Internet. Click out. And there it is. So to be more, a little bit, to give you some frame of reference of mind, when you see Backup SLA Preferred Color, don't let the backup naming convention throw you off. This just means that the traffic matching this sequence is, or this action more specifically, is loosely enforced. If traffic doesn't match this rule, based off of its backup SLA preferred color, it chooses the next available tunnel, which in this case would be the LTE transport that we've configured. But rest assured, if we ping from branch site 1 to branch site 2, coming from this subnet to this subnet, traffic will match that this sequence rule, and it'll go over the Biz Internet transport. If we wanted to get more specific on our color options, we would need to actually create an SLA list to match on latency, jitter, and loss percentage. The SLA action would allow us to select the strict option, where traffic that doesn't match that SLA that would go over the Biz Internet transport will not go over any transports that are pre-configured or are configured in our topology, and as a result would be dropped. So to be more specific, see this SLA class lists, you'd have to select or pre-configure an SLA class list. Luckily, off camera I configured some. I'm not going to do it for this video. Maybe in a future video we'll go over SLA lists, but you'd select your SLA list and then choose preferred color, and then for instance go over Biz Internet, and then you'd select strict if you want to make sure that traffic that matches this sequence rule from data DS1 to data DS2 can only go over preferred as a Biz Internet for the color transport. If it does not, it basically gets dropped and will not find the next available tunnel to pass that traffic if you select this strict check mark. But we're not going to be too strict on our app-aware policy, so we're going to exit out of this, and we're just going to have the backup SLA preferred color As you can see, I don't have the strict option for this backup SLA preferred color. That's why I said earlier it's loosely enforced. But rest assured, once we match ICMP traffic from data DS1 into data DS2, it'll go over that biz internet transport. All right, so save and match actions to complete that sequence rule. Now we're going to create a new sequence rule to match our TCP traffic. If you're watching this video on YouTube, this is the unfortunate end to this video. I recommend all viewers to head over to notlayer3.com for annual packages and monthly subscriptions to watch longer and more in-depth videos on all things SD-WAN related. For this video in particular, we'll finish configuring this app-aware policy and apply it to our existing centralized policy. I want to thank you guys for trusting us as your SD-WAN instructors, and make sure to comment, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content.